Hi, I'm Laura Flanders of The Laura Flanders Show, where I interview the best thinkers and doers of our time. On TV, the show premieres Sundays at 11:30 Eastern on PBS World and at the Laura Flanders Show YouTube channel. You can join my guests and me every week there in the live viewing party, and then catch us all week on public television stations. Prefer to listen? Find us on a radio station near you or subscribe to the free podcast. You'll find listings and ways to subscribe at lauraflanders.org. That's also where you'll receive my regular commentaries. I call them the F word. Here's this week's. A powerful scene in the Peabody Award-winning documentary Crip Camp shows a sit-down protest by over 100 mostly disabled Americans inside the old federal office building in San Francisco. The year was 1977, the mood defiant, angry, excited. At issue was government enforcement of Section 504 of the 1973 Rehabilitation Act, the first federal law ever to ban discrimination against people with disabilities. 504 was important because while the 73 Act had banned discrimination, it was 504 that laid out what that meant. It wasn't enough, for example, for a bus driver to stop a bus for a passenger in a wheelchair if that passenger had no way actually to board that bus. Affirmative conduct may be required. That was the language used in the section. As Crip Camp, a disability revolution, shows, the sit-in sparked solidarity from every quarter of the social justice movement. While protesters inside strategized and signed, an even bigger crowd massed outside. Among those were Black Panthers, lesbian and gay activists, peaceniks, pastors, hippies. Asked why a disabled people's protest over an obscure piece of federal law attracted quite so much solidarity, Elaine Brown, the leader of the Black Panthers, said that the activists' demands resonated with the Panthers' notion about freedom and systemic change. If you can't live with dignity, you're oppressed, she told the Paul K. Longmore Institute on Disability years later. Living free with equality, dignity, equity, and justice requires more than law. It requires affirmative conduct. It requires systemic change, the activists said. The San Francisco sit-in lasted 28 days. It prompted a congressional hearing, forced government action, and eventually many of the provisions of 504 were written into the Americans with Disabilities Act, which was signed on July 26, 1990. Some disabled activists call that their Independence Day. But the message of the sit-in, which was sustained as the film shows by hot food from the Panthers' kitchen and baked goods from a local lesbian co-op, was that independence, per se, is no guarantee of justice. Whether we're talking about righting the wrongs of poverty, patriarchy, racism, or simply lack of care, affirmative conduct may be required. Systemic change. And that's the demand the disability justice movement is making today. History shows they're worth listening to. You can watch or hear my interview with Jim Lebrecht and Nicole Newnham, co-producer-directors of Crip Camp, and Andrea Levant of Levant Consulting on disability justice and the importance of creating inclusive culture this week on The Laura Flanders Show on public television across the country and as a podcast. Subscribe and find out more at www.lauraflanders.org. And thanks.